What's going on, guys? Your boy Dope, and today I'm bringing us another YouTube video. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing my M340i right here. So I'm going to be going over everything about the car, what I like, what I don't like, and just overall how it feels like to be daily driving an M340i. It's a 2022 BMW M340i. It's pushing about 382 horsepower from the factory. So it's pretty quick for what it is. It's not modified besides the trunk lip that I put on it, the shark fin, and the side mirror caps, but engine's completely untouched, exhaust system, everything's completely stock. So the way I'm going to be reviewing this video is basically a stock vehicle with window tint as well. So other than that, stay tuned. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, favorite, comment, subscribe. I'm going to be reviewing the Supra next, and I'm going to be doing a BMW versus Supra comparison and which one I would prefer as well very shortly. So stay tuned for that, guys. So anyways, one of the first things I want to talk about in this car is basically it's obviously fast. You get good fuel economy, so you get about roughly, maybe if you're like racing, like 20 mpg, 20 to 30 mpg if you're regularly driving. So what I noticed too, off peak, you can probably pull off maybe like 40 to 45 mpg because it is a mild hybrid system. So the 2021s and up, they made it a mild hybrid system. The 2020s aren't, so you get that big benefit right there. It's a bigger battery on the rear, and it gives you better gas mileage as well. So that's a big bonus compared to like 2020 models, right? Or other 340i models. So anyways, that's a big perk. You get fast, fuel economy, and it's also reliable. It's one of BMW's most reliable engines, and it's very cheap to modify. So I'm going to be doing a quick little overview on the basics of the car, and then I'll be going over everything else in depth. So obviously, like modifying it, I have a lot of plans for this car to modify it. Carbon fiber parts are cheap, engine mods are cheap, tuning is cheap, besides unless you want to do the boot mod 3, you do have to ship out the ECU. So that's where things get a little bit more complicated with the 21 and up models. But I mean, if you're just trying to drive the car and enjoy it, you can't really go wrong with this. So anyways, guys, let's do a little walk around of the car and show you guys little stuff about the vehicle, what I like, what I don't like, and we'll go from there. Alright, guys, so right here, what the model I got was it's a rear-wheel drive. It's not the X-Drive model. So this one does have the Shadowline, black Shadowline package. So as you can see here, the difference between this and the regular non-Shadowline package M340i is you're gonna get the black outline like headlights. You get this black grille with like little kind of funky design. And you get this blacked out as well. These mirror caps come blacked out, but I put in carbon fibers because I wanted that M look right here. And then other than that, I mean, you get that's basically we get $600 worth for right there, which is a lot. I mean, most of the cars come with it now. The other models, like 21 and 2020 models, came with like a gray finish here. It was like chrome right there. Different kind of grill, so it's just all preference at the end of the day. So for those curious, this is a black Shadowline package. Here at the wheels, I got the 19-inch M Sport 792 jet black M wheels. So this is another $600 option, which in my opinion is worth it. These rims are really, really nice. Kind of makes you. Anyways, as I was saying, because the motorcycle is really, really loud. We got the M Sport jet black wheels, $600 option. I personally went with this exact color. We're gonna go over the exterior first. Just overall, because these options are pretty cheap, and at the end of the day, you don't have to really change out the wheels. I mean, personally, I like gloss black, so that's why I went with them. But yeah, they're 19-inch. They are 8.5 all around. So the fitment can't really fit a bigger size tire on the rear, so it's not really staggered. It's actually the same length all around. So it's pretty cool. You don't really care to modify, but because I do want to modify, it kind of sucks because I can't change out the tires to a bigger size because the rims are too small. But anyways, they come with 235 Bridgestone tires all around, sadly. So the 235s in the front, 235s in the rear. So I don't know why they did that. The run flats all around, kind of sucks. And the biggest downside, guys, from these tires alone is that they put a speed limiter, government speed limiter on the car to 130 just because it's unsafe for the car to go over 130 with run flats. So which really sucks, because then you kind of want to be a little bit more forced to tune it. If you do want to be racing the car, if you don't, it doesn't really matter. But if you are in the market for one, I highly, highly recommend you get one without run flat tires from factory, because all the run flat tire options that you could get on this car will have a 130 mile per hour speed limiter. So anyways, that's what we got. And then on top of that, as you see here, I got the red M performance brakes. So my 2020 M340i had blue. I wanted to go with red, which stands out a little bit more. It's a $0 option, you don't have to pay extra for it. So that's one big feature I really like, because it kind of, you know, you can see that has Brembo brakes. One of my favorite features from the car. Aside from that, I didn't really pay for anything else extra on the exterior of the car. So that was just the Shadowline package, $600. Jet black wheels, $600. Red calipers is $0. But yeah, so that's the exterior. What I don't like about the exterior, if I'm gonna be honest, I hate that we cannot control whether or not we can open this grille or not. So this grille, it's an active grille that only basically only opens or only functions when the car is hot. So if the car is hot, it cools itself down. Another downside to that is that if there were to be an issue with that kind of system, of it not being able to close whatever, it could trigger a check engine light. So that's one thing that kind of sucks. I don't know why they didn't just leave it open, but I mean, BMW, I don't know what they're doing with that, but that's that. Other than that, I mean, I love the front grille. I prefer this one over the M3 and M4. Considering I could afford an M3 and M4, I didn't go with it, mainly because the front grille just didn't grow on me enough. But this grille right here, just, I don't know, you just can't go wrong with the grille. But other than that, I mean, it kind of sucks that it has this, like, this big ass outline. So I mean, other than that, you can't really complain with the grille, but you kind of get used to it. So like I said, I do have other stuff I want to do to the car. So you guys will see. So right now I want to do the review video while it's almost completely stock still. So that's that. Of course, you got an orange marker here. I'm gonna black that out. Of course, I'm gonna tint it out. Kind of bugs me that's just there. What else? So other than that, I mean, the fenders are pretty much stock right here, so there's like nothing there. I mean, it kind of sucks that they're not ventilated or anything like that, so that's kind of like a downfall there. But other than that, I mean, that's mainly on the M series. That's where they look dope. But these ones are kind of basic, so I mean, it's not much you can do there. I don't know what cars are. So, anyways, what else did I say? So, anyways, as we get toward the back of the vehicle, or the side profile of the vehicle, it's pretty unique how when you get closer to the car, it has these lights right here, so it's pretty nice. The lights come from bottom, like from the door handles down. It kind of looks like a little wing, looks pretty fancy. I personally like that. I think there's an option to change them out. It's just like little projector lights. I'm not gonna go on my way to do that because they're pretty expensive and it's a pointless modification to me. But if you did want to, it could be like saying something else like BMW M or something like that. But that's a pretty unique feature from the exterior. That visibility is really good. When you're on the inside of the car, of course, you got pretty good size windows here. Another big feature here too, of course, is on the mirrors. You get obviously the blind spot detection, so it lights up a yellow triangle if somebody's in your blind spot. So that's that. One of my favorite like views and angles of this car is gonna have to be the rear. So I really like the rear, this specific like angle right here. Same thing with the Supra, if I'm gonna be honest, because from factory you get these blacked out like tail lights right here, which is pretty dope, and it's like kind of like a darker red rear tail light, which is pretty nice. And you also get black exhaust tips. So the black Shadowline package I was telling you guys about, you also get gloss black exhaust tips, which is pretty nice feature there. But yeah, so I mean, I went ahead and added this AA Concepts aggressive trunk lip, and then AA Concepts shark fin. So those are the only three mods I've really done to the car. But other than that, I mean, I did a BMW M license plate frame. But yeah, without further ado, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, of course, you get front and rear sensors. It's pretty cool. I mean, mostly standard on most cars nowadays. So that's that with the exterior. Now let's go over the interior. All right, so as we get towards the interior of the car, biggest thing I can think of, guys, is gonna be the Harman Kardon speaker system. So before this 2022 M340i, I had a 2020, and it had the hi-fi sound system, which is obviously BMW standard sound system. Really trash, completely garbage. So personally, I was not gonna get a BMW M340i unless it had the Harman Kardon system. Why? Because you can't put it on after you bought it with the hi-fi sound system. They just don't do that, because it has a bunch of speakers in the car. I think it's 12 speakers. There's also some underneath the car for the bass. It's like little subwoofers, and then they're out the doors, of course, and it has tweeters. So and my recommendation is, if you're going to be daily driving this car, or just in general, you're going to want to keep this car, I highly recommend you get it with the Harman Kardon sound system. It is a $875 option, but honestly, it's worth it. It's a lot better than most sound systems out there, but you know, it gets the job done. So you check it out here. We have the Harman Kardon sound system brand right there, which is pretty cool. That's the only spot you really get it at. You also get it, you know, branded on the rear and on the back doors as well. So I'll show you guys that in a little bit, but let's go ahead and talk about like the driver's side perspective real quick. So right here, you kind of get a digital display, which is really nice. It's one of my favorite features from the car. Digital display, digital dash, I should say. You get a nice, pretty big Apple CarPlay screen. You get this car is equipped with heated seats, not with the heated steering wheel. It has blind spot detection, so if you like swerve out of your lane, it does kind of put you back in your lane. Or if there's a car in front of you or a person in front of you, the car will automatically brake if you're not paying attention, you know, accordingly. So I've actually had a weird story, guys. I was doing DoorDash and I was like on my way to go pick up the food, and my car randomly detected a person. I'm assuming it was a ghost. This is a crazy ass story. And on my dash, it showed that a person was in front of me, so my car literally braked on its own, which is pretty scary, but it goes to show that it works, you know? It goes to show that it works good. So I mean, there's also been a time where I tested it too with the car. So with the car, if you're not paying attention, you're not braking in time, the car will brake for you in an emergency way. So this one isn't equipped with the advanced one. The advanced one it'll brake accordingly. This one's more like it's an emergency, it's gonna brake for you, which was only a $700 option. Again, it comes with it. I didn't build it. I bought it the way it was from the dealer. So that's a big option. Another cool feature, which I'll show you guys in the night mode as well on your screen in a little bit, is the ambient lighting here. So you could change the lighting to multiple different colors, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. Without further ado, I think that's pretty much most of the options here. You get obviously Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, Eco Pro as your basically your modes. So if you want to be, honestly, I personally use either Eco Pro or Sport Plus. That's it. So Eco Pro is obviously going to be implementing your mild hybrid system. Sport, you're just going to be basically driving regularly, but either or. There's a slight difference in MPG when it comes down to the two. Eco Pro is a little bit more of a benefit just because when you come to a red light, it turns off your car, or you're at the drive-thru, it turns off your car every time you come to a complete stop, and Sport doesn't. So if you don't like the feature of the auto start stop, recommend just driving on Sport all the way. Because for some reason on these models, or at least on mine specifically, I can't turn off that feature of the engine turning off and on if I'm on Comfort or Eco Pro. So that's that. I'm a really big fan of the steering wheel, guys. If I'm gonna be honest, the steering wheel is pretty thick. Allows you to grip it pretty good. It's weird, no homo, but it's a really good feeling steering wheel. I'm a big fan of it. But I'm gonna go ahead and sit in it so you guys can kind of see how I look like when I'm in it. I'm 5'8", so I mean I'm not the tallest, not the shortest, but at the end of the day, it feels really comfortable. So I'll go ahead and show you guys to kind of get an idea of the space in the car. So yeah, so this is pretty much how I feel. I feel pretty snug in here. It's pretty spacious. Honestly, there's a lot of space when it comes down to moving forward in back. So if I did want to move back because I'm a lot taller, it would be no problem. And the cool thing is there's also a seat memory feature. So if I just press one right here, it adjusts the seat exactly how I had it, and it adjusts the mirrors as well, so it's pretty nice. Yeah, so that's pretty much most of the features that are on the car as far as I can think of right here. So let me go ahead and show you guys the engine and the trunk space. All right, so when we get to the engine, one of the cool features here too is you could just let it lift up and you won't have to worry about putting a sticker or anything like that. So it holds itself up. It's pretty nice. Again, 382 horsepower, 3.0 inline 6 single turbo engine. You got the performance on the engine cover, which is pretty nice. Again, the car's completely stock for now, but you can't really go wrong with obviously the engine. It's pretty nice. It's not the hardest to work with, but personally I'm still going to pay people to modify my car for me. I'm just kind of over it for my Civic. After modifying it in the garage and all that stuff, I'm kind of like tired of spending hours in the garage modifying the car. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing. So on the future videos, I'm going to be taking it to the shops and stuff like that to have them do it. And the beauty of it is, like I said, these cars are cheap to mod. The labor isn't that expensive either because these cars are a lot easier to work with. So that's like one big feature that these cars have. 340i's or M340i's or Supras, anything with the V58, pretty easy engine to work with. So the cars are a little bit more expensive, but all varies. This is a V58 TU engine, so it is generation 2 as opposed to the 340i's that are generation 1. So these do have slightly better internals. However, the car is heavier, so that's kind of like the disadvantage there. But so yeah, so this is what you get from the engine bay. So I'll show you guys the trunk space in a little bit. Before we get to the trunk space, I do want to go over the back seats, guys. So when we go into the back seats, I said I'm 5'8", it's pretty spacious. However, if you got somebody tall in front of you, this is where it gets really uncomfortable because there's not too much leg room. So if they do want to like go back, I mean, honestly, it's really tight. So even though it is a 5-seater, because of this, you know, thing here for the transmission, it's gonna be kind of very tight back here. But at the end of the day, it gets the job done, honestly. So just, you know, keep that in mind. That it's not the most ideal, spacious 4-door sedan, but it gets the job done. However, if the person in front of you is tall, and they have to, you know, they need more room, that's where it becomes really uncomfortable for the people in the back. So that's that. You do get 2 USB Type-C chargers back here, and you do get to adjust the climate control back here as well. So you could kind of adjust those things in the center console here too, which I forgot to show you guys. I will in a little bit. There's a plenty of space in there as well. So let's go ahead and show you guys that before we get to the trunk of the car. All right, so here we got a Type-C input here, so it's, you know, it's pretty nice. Not the most ideal like space in here, but I mean, it gets the job done. Overall, you know, you get 2 cup holders, space to put like some extra shades here, USB, regular USB input. You get the cigarette lighter port here, and then if you wanted to take a look real quick, it's gonna be right there. And then also the glove department has some pretty good amount of space here too. You can fit plenty of stuff in there. Not the biggest, if I'm gonna be honest, this glove department isn't the biggest, neither is this, but I mean, again, you know, gets the job done there. So other than that, I mean, everything else is pretty straightforward. I did install some dash cams on my car, front and rear, which I just did recently, but this honestly is pretty bright. So even if you did want to like you can turn it on, it becomes really bright. Obviously this has lights here too for both people, pretty nice. You know, you get your sunroof too, so if you wanted to open the sunroof, which I'll show you in a little bit, you know, it has a sunroof as well. So other than that, I mean, visibility, guys, like I said, it's pretty good when you're driving. You can't really complain. Now let's go ahead and show you guys the rear of the car. All right, so when we get to the trunk, you got plenty of space. So as you can see, we have a whole ass flea market back here. We got a fucking vacuum, we got a sweater, a bunch of cleaning supplies, towels, everything, you name it. We're literally, you know, whole ass Walmart back here. So as you can tell, I mean, I'm not gonna go into specifics on how much space is back here, but there's plenty of space, as you can tell. You know, you can fit everything and anything. There's a bucket back here too, bags filled with towels. So, you know, you got plenty of space back here. I literally cannot complain about the trunk space when it comes down to this car. So the trunk space is pretty solid, can't complain. Sadly, underneath it, I mean, you can't put anything in there because there's a battery under there, so that's where the mild hybrid system battery is at. But I do recommend obviously buying a trunk tray. It comes in clutch in case anything spills back there or whatever, you know, prevents from scratching the carpet. Yes, you know, so that's that. Trunk space is solid. So anyways, guys, without further ado, we're gonna be doing a drive-by, some revs, maybe some driving POV, and then that's gonna be it. So other than that, guys, as far as like a think of pros and cons of this car, I mean, some people don't like that there's a single exhaust tip. I mean, some people like the quad tips. It's all preference at the end of the day. You can always change it by taking out that little piece here that you see from the exhaust tip. I mean, if you wanted to show a quad tip, I mean, other than that, I mean, I honestly like it like that. It's something different. It looks pretty clean, in my opinion. As far as what tint I have a 5% all around on the back. I don't have the front windows tinted just because I got a ticket for it, sadly, but the front windshield is tinted 35%, so that's why it's pretty dark. I did get the black leather interior, I forgot to mention. It's a perforated leather, which is pretty cool. So other than that, I mean, there's nothing else much to say about the car. Of course, it has keyless entry. It's pretty nice. It has remote start as well. That's a big feature too. So when it comes down to having an exhaust, you have remote start, which I can show you right now. So we got the remote start right here. All you have to do is press the lock button 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And you know, you get the start up right there, which is pretty nice. Or if you do want to turn it off, 1, 2, 3, and it shuts off the engine right then and there. You know, it's pretty solid. It's pretty cool. It comes convenient when it is hot outside. If it's really hot outside, it turns on the AC for you, cools down the inside. Or if it's really cold outside, it does obviously warm it up inside. So it's a pretty unique feature, $300 extra feature. Another thing I forgot to mention, the car also does have M floor mats, which I mean, honestly, there is regular floor mats with like a little tag that says M on it. Nothing too fancy, but the car came with it, like I said. So other than that, I mean, the MSRP of this car for me was $58,000 plus tax, so it came out to around like 63-ish, give or take. So it is quite expensive. Of course, that's consideration considering the jet black wheels, the Shadowline package, the M Sport floor mats. You got the Harman Kardon sound system, blind spot detection, remote start. So you do have quite a bit of features there. This baseline MSRP is about $56 for a brand new one. So it is a quite expensive car, guys, but in my opinion, honestly, you can't complain. Why? Because you're getting, literally, if you wanted to, you could get 30 mpg on this car easily without a problem. Or if you want to go racing or track it or go to the drag strip, you can have some fun with it because it's a whole ass sports car. It's a really, really amazing engine in there. Sounds amazing. It's honestly, in my opinion, the best sounding BMW out there, even compared to the G80s. G80s sound really nice, but in my opinion, I don't know what it's about the B58. It just sounds amazing, and honestly, you can't really complain about it. But there's not many cons to this car besides, honestly, I mean, it doesn't look like the most fanciest, but it gets the job done for both being sport and a luxury, comfortable ride. So you get the best of all worlds there. So yeah, I mean, there's really not that many cons I can think of. So I'll show you guys a little POV of driving, and then I'll show you guys the drive-by, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what it sounds like, and some revving as well. So stay tuned for that. Alright guys, so we're just gonna be doing some inside driving POV, so that way I can kind of get like a little bit more of a, I guess, better or like more ideas of like what I could think of, what I like and don't like about the car. Overall, the handling of the car is very amazing. Honestly, you can't go wrong with it. It's pretty sporty, you know. The steering wheel is pretty stiff when you put it on sport mode, so it kind of feels like an extra sports car. But I just love that this car, you could do both. You could have a comfort or a sports car. You get literally both. So honestly, it's like, I know I couldn't think of too many cons on this car, but just because honestly there really isn't that many cons in this car. It's a smooth shift, very fast, very comfortable, very quiet when it comes down to the exhaust, you know. So right now, as you guys were able to, I'm not sure if you guys were able to hear that little engine sound, but I'll go ahead and probably put it on Eco Pro right now in like our next like probably minute or two of driving, so you can kind of get an idea of how quiet the car is. But like I said, the steering wheel is thick. Literally, you know, it's thick, perfect thickness, just enough so that you can kind of grip it good while you're driving, or, you know, doing aggressive driving or whatnot. As you guys saw my BMW tracking event, that's one of my biggest favorite features of the car is the steering wheel. It's very, very sporty, I feel like. The seats aren't like bucket seats, but, you know, they hug you pretty nicely. But I mean, again, it's not really supposed to be a full-ass sports car, but at the end of the day, you get kind of like both. It's a baby bucket seat, but at the end of the day, it's also a really comfortable seat. So for long drives, I mean, I've driven this car to Vegas, San Diego multiple times, and honestly, I cannot go wrong with long drives. Like, it doesn't get uncomfortable, to me at least. The pedals feel nice too. I mean, everything about the car feels really nice. Suspension's like, you know, solid as well. It's like very, very smooth. It's not like too bouncy or anything like that. It's not too stiff. So as you can tell right now, you probably won't even hear the engine, because when you put it on Eco Pro, the car shifts to like maybe 6th or 7th gear, like really, really fast, up to 8th gear, right? Because it's 8-speed. So it's pretty nice. So right now you probably can't hear anything, but the moment you put it on sport mode, you know, you can kind of hear like a little bit of engine sound. Obviously, if you put it on Sport Plus, that's where it's like a different story. So that's where obviously you'll hear like more of the engine sound. So like the engine, you know, you get the downshifts and all that stuff, a little bit more aggressive. So of course, when you put it on Sport Plus, the transmission, the engine, the steering, everything about it is extremely aggressive. So you could always adjust that here too if you wanted to. So you put configure individual, put steering, you can put on Sport, engine, Sport Plus, Sport or Comfort. Same with transmission as well, so you could always mess with these settings. So this car has a lot of settings, guys. Like, you really can't go wrong with the settings that this car has to offer. It has a bunch of settings right there. So again, I'm at 10,800 miles, guys. I honestly can't really complain about the car. I love the car. Get the best of both worlds. I put these extra paddle shifter extensions, as you guys saw earlier on the video. You know, they're like maybe like 20 bucks on Amazon. My favorite, personally, they're aluminum. They don't look cheap, you know, looks like solid aluminum quality. So that's that. When it comes down to saving gas, the best way to go about it is obviously going on the cruise control. And if it comes down to racing, you want to make sure that you don't press the traction off, you want to hold it. So if you hold it, I'll show you right now on the screen, it's going to say DSC off. So that's the option you want to see when it comes down to racing, so you get no wheel spin at all and you have traction completely off. So that's how that's going to look. If you just have it off, so obviously right now I'm going to turn it back on. Right now it's like, nah, obviously right now obviously traction's on, but if you were to just press it, it would just say traction, you know, traction's off. But if you want to get like the full, you know, advantage, you know, when it comes down to racing it, you want to make sure you hold it down and DSC off. So anyway, right now we're gonna do like a little baby pull, just so you guys can hear like the engine. This car doesn't really pop, sadly. It's one thing we'll talk about a little bit when it comes down to the revving. But when you see this car fucking pulls for what it is, and the downshifts is like fucking smooth as fuck. Honestly guys, for a stock car, like this shit's fucking smooth as hell. It's crazy. So that's that with about the interior. So anyways guys, we're gonna get into the revving, the drive-by of the car, so you guys can kind of hear the difference. So as you can tell, you hear the engine, right? So I'm not doing like no aggressive driving because right now we're like in the middle of the street and stuff. So I'll probably do like one little pull right here. So I do a second here pull. So that's like one way to go about it if you want to like manually shift. Personally, if I'm racing, I like to just pop it into, right now it's in manual mode, right? So I'm manually shifting in the car. But if you're like downshifting, you might want to like obviously shift it into drive, so that way the car shifts on its own and you don't like, you know, accidentally like let the car like sit on the red line too long or something like that. So it's like more of a safety feature, and also you're gonna get the best advantage when it comes down to like racing, that you're guaranteed to not miss shift, obviously. So the downshifts, can't hear any pops, maybe like a little tiny little pop and shit, but nothing crazy like the 2020. If I'm gonna be honest guys, one of the biggest downfalls of this car is that it does not pop at all compared to like the 2020 models. So BMW did that intentionally. They made these cars a lot quieter than the previous generation. So, or not previous generation, but previous years. So at the moment it became 2021 and up, they made them a lot quieter, sadly. So the 2020 I did have, oh my god, like that shit sounded badass. It makes it feel like an extra sports car. That's like the beauty of the pops, you know. And it wasn't too obnoxious. It was like perfect. But so obviously again, the car's completely stock. So stay tuned for the revs. Alright guys, so quick thing I forgot to mention, one of my favorite features for this car as well is the fact that it has auto H, which is basically like brake hold, holds the brake for you when you come to a complete stop, so that way you don't have to have your foot on the brake, holding it while like waiting until the light turns green or on the drive-thru or whatnot. So that's one of my favorite features there. Like I've said, you can change the colors of the interior lighting to whatever colors. They have several different options, but another key thing that I like too is the sports display here. So for example, you can see like how much boost your turbo has and stuff like that. So right now I'm gonna do like a little pull so you kind of see it, kind of see how much power the car is putting out. That's pretty nice right there. You get horsepower, torque, and PSI for the turbo, and you get your oil temperature there, which is pretty nice. Speakers, like I said, I can't show you guys. I wouldn't want to show you guys over like how it sounds, copyright reasons, and also because it's not gonna do justice over the video on how good it sounds. But the Harman Kardon speakers sound really, really nice. But I had a Tesla before, like I told you guys, and nothing beats a Tesla audio. If I'm gonna be completely honest, guys, like Tesla audio from factory is nice, but this is almost as good as the Tesla audio. Like it's really, really nice. You just have to tweak the settings. I tweaked them personally like this, which I'm about to show you right now. So let me see where it's at. Personalized menu. Give me a second. Where's it at? Look for it. Settings. Alright, so we're gonna be right here on sound. So I have Logic 7 surrounds enabled. Surround is basically centered. You got treble at 3. You got bass 2 away from the last one. Balance, fader, all neutral. Nothing's changed there. Volume settings, I mean, I hate that you can't take off speed volume. Basically when you're going faster, the volume adjusts, which is kind of annoying. But other than that, I mean, everything else is pretty straightforward there. So those are my settings. I disabled the touchscreen and touchpad audio confirmation. That way you don't really hear sounds whenever you're pressing on the touchscreen. So those are like my favorite settings there, because I love listening to music, and I do DoorDash in this car for fun, like I said, so, or Uber. So I like to obviously have like the best quality sound that I possibly can. So that's pretty nice. Dual climate control as well. You could obviously have temperature of different temperature of the AC on the right side compared to the left. Same thing with the rear. And other than that, yeah, let's get to the Revs and the drive-by. All right, last two features I forgot to show. This car does come with the live Cockpit Pro, which is what it's called. So basically kind of like a navigation. Obviously also comes with navigation as well. So this cool thing about this is that obviously if there's like traffic cameras with like red light cameras, it shows you right here. Or if there's like an uneven road, it shows you as well. So it's pretty nice. That's kind of like what it looks like. If you don't like seeing that there's always an option to take it off. This honestly, this full tank kind of gets you roughly maybe 430 miles, if not more. One of the biggest things that I realized that I went to Vegas from California, Anaheim, California, about 280 miles, and a little over half a tank left in the car. So honestly, guys, the gas, like I said, on this car is really, really nice. That's considering I did a couple pulls on the car as well. So you could always change the right side thing here of the screen to your power, the G meter, obviously if you connect your device, what mode you're in, the MPG, and then you get your miles and your average mile per hour and stuff like that. And then last thing I forgot to mention is these mirror caps. They do have a little bit of wind noise from AA Concepts. I tried everything to make it work. It's only the right one. So other than that, that's about it from the interior. Alright guys, so we're gonna get into the Revs now, so that way you guys kind of get an idea what it sounds like stock. I will be modifying the exhaust soon, that way you guys kind of get an idea what it sounds like. I'm gonna be doing custom exhaust, so we'll see how that ends up sounding. But without further ado, right now, it's fully stock exhaust system, fully stock car. What I did notice personally is that after 5,000 miles, the car did get a little bit louder, engine and exhaust wise. And also when you do a couple pulls after the 5,000 mile mark, the car does pop a little bit louder, but obviously not too crazy like the 2020 Supras or the 2020 M340i's. So obviously those pop a lot louder actually than these new 21 and up M340i models. So I'd say maybe like 3 pulls, and then you could maybe like spool it a little bit, let go of the gas at like 3,000 to 4,000 RPM, and it'll pop a little bit louder, but nothing too extreme or anything like that. So without further ado, about to rev it right now, and know what you guys think, and then we'll close out the video. Alright guys, so pretty much went over anything and everything I could think of with this car, guys. I mean, I've owned it for about 4 months, 10,800 miles. I know I drive it like a fuck ton, go on road trips, DoorDash, Uber with it, everything, and just night drives in general. And honestly guys, I can't really think of many things I can complain about besides the simple fact that obviously it doesn't pop that loud from factory, which is my biggest pet peeve that BMW did from factory. The wind noise that happened on the right side after I installed the AA Concepts mirror cap, and just can't fix it. Had it checked out by the BMW tech, and they just, I don't know, I just can't do anything about it. Other than that, I mean, there's not much stuff that I can really complain about. It's a really fast car, it's reliable, saves a good amount of gas, very comfortable, beast-ass speakers, badass looking fucking car. You know, all around sports car, luxury car. Ambient lighting is one of my biggest favorite things at night, guys. Like honestly, that really makes the car look a lot different. It looks so fucking plain with it off. And the cool thing is that you can change the colors of it too, so that's pretty dope. But without further ado, guys, I mean, This is my 2022 BMW M340i review video. It's probably not the best review video just because I don't really do review videos, but I figured I really want to do a review video about this one just because it's an amazing car and there's not much to really complain about it when it comes down to, you know, it being, honestly to me, it's honestly 10 out of 10, but the pops would make it fucking 100 out of 10 for sure. But other guys, without further ado, don't forget to like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more M340i videos. I'm going to be modifying this car finally. Just kind of wanted to enjoy it stock, let it break in, make sure everything from factory is good. I did have one issue, which was the battery. It did fail on me about 7,000 something miles in, but got it replaced. Even though it's not covered under the bumper-to-bumper warranty, but I complained to the dealership because I was like, dude, like, I earned you guys business. I've sold you guys cars here before. Like, the least you could do is give me a free battery. That failed after 3 months. So anyways, guys, other than that, haven't had any issues with the car. Can't complain. Car comes with free maintenance as well. So all brand new M340i cars come with 3 years, 36,000 miles of free maintenance, which means free oil changes, free spark plugs, free brake fluid, free cabin air filter, and I think that's about it. So honestly, that's a big bonus that you don't have to worry about maintenance at all for 3 years, and you get it from BMW. So without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.